for you.
I think so, yeah.
Look at this guy. Take the picture.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, okay.
I'm doing good.
I'll leave it with you, brother.
Thanks, James.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Good. So, if I speak like this, it's because I became a speaker before I became an author. And I think you know what I mean, because how many of you began to write before you spoke? You began to write before you spoke? Yeah. That is so unique, because we all start crying when we are born, which means we are already speakers, guys. We spoke a language which was not known to adults, okay? So you're all speakers already, don't worry about it, it's very easy. So my name is Gurunath Hari, and the title of my book, as you can see here, is The 6 Dimensions, and it's about the concept of holistic wellness. And I've applied that concept to a couple of issues. One is the problem which is called Presenteeism. How many of you in this room have heard the term Presenteeism? Can I see a show of hands? You've heard of Presenteeism? Phenomenal. Anybody on this side? Yeah, it's typically you've heard Presenteeism. So Presenteeism is the close cousin of absenteeism. Absenteeism is companies losing productivity because people don't show up to work. Presenteeism is companies losing productivity because people show up to work but they're unwell. So that's what it is. It's as simple as that. So now, can I see a show of hands? How many of you are guilty, including me, of going to our jobs? We're supposed to be getting a salary from 8 to 5. How many of you have actually worked from 8 to 5? Can I see a show of hands? Really? Okay, how many of you are guilty of not having worked from 8 to 5? Can I see a show of hands? Yeah, that's more likely, right? We do tend to drift off into our own worlds of Facebooking sometimes, emailing sometimes, etc., etc. But that's fine. The issue is Gallup. How many of you know Gallup? Okay. So Gallup did a recent survey, and they said there is something called staff engagement. Have you heard of staff engagement, employee engagement? Do you know what is the global average of employee engagement in the world today? Any idea? It is 13%. 1-3. That's the number of people in the globe who are engaged in their jobs. Okay, so you got that. Take a guess, how much is it for Singapore?
6.
Close. It's 9%. Which means 91% of all Singaporeans who are employed in jobs, whether you like it or not, are looking to find the next job. Because they want to get a higher salary or a better role, stuff like that. Now, is that good for employers? No. Is it good for you? No. It's not. Because you've got to excel in what you do where you are right now for you to aspire for something better, correct? So, this is a book, and I've been in corporate sector for 26 years. I work in a multinational company, which is my 4th and 6th employer. There was a time in 2000 when I lost my job without any warning. I was jobless for a year. My wife is sitting right here, and I had a son who was 1 year old and a daughter who at that time was probably 8 or 9. For a whole year I looked for a job, more than 100 applications, and I got 0 interviews. And that was a time when I learned the principles of holistic wellness. Now, James was standing here and he talked about energy. You remember he said, he was sitting right here and saying, I lost my wife. I was so sad. Remember that? 4 months he did nothing. Now that was he going through what typically in medical terms would be called depression. Correct, James?
Yes, sir.
And then what happened was, one of the dimensions of holistic wellness is mental wellness. So he had a person no less than Jerry come and give him a kick in the butt and got him to come out of that. Now Jerry was able to do that because what James had when he didn't have mental wellness is he had social wellness, which is the second dimension. Using the combination of social wellness which he had, he leveraged it back to become more financially better now. That's his financial wellness. And I can tell you, through all of this, he is a spiritual guy. I saw him do this. Okay? I don't know what it means. It seems spiritual to me. Okay? So he's a spiritual guy. And that's the fourth dimension of wellness. The other two dimensions of wellness is obviously physical. Because as you can see, James is a tough guy, he's a 6 feet tall guy, and you need physical wellness too. And the last one, which you don't realize right now, is environmental wellness. That's the most underrated wellness dimension on the planet. The reason you are sitting here and listening to me patiently is because you're sitting in an air-conditioned room, among friends, in a nice environment. It's not just that. How many of you are working in workplaces which is stressful? Can I see a show of hands? Stressful workplaces. Now that's an environment. Okay? So the American Society of Chemicals and Toxic Materials, they have defined the environment as anything that is not internal to you. That's the definition of environment. So guys, there are these 6 dimensions of wellness. I'm going to ask you one more minute question and then I'm going to get out of here for my next colleagues to speak. Can I ask you, how many of you in this room are aware of what they want to do in their lives? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, that's about 20%. How many of you would like to be sure about what you want to do in your life? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, that's about half the room. Now this book has got 3 parts. The first part is what I call is to find your grand central purpose, GCP. Now those of you who put your hands up saying you know what you want to do in your life, great, congratulations. You can read the part 1 of the book and validate what you already know. Those who did not put your hand up or who put your hand up because you don't know what you want to do, the part 1 is for you. Because it takes you through a very simple step of leveraging the things that you like doing, the things which you know, the things which you want to do, and connect it back to your lives to help you figure out, to help you unravel, to help you discover what is your grand central purpose in life. Is that good or what?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's part 1. Part 2 is about phenomenal, ordinary human beings who have been through acute adversity, like James. And what I've done is I've researched these people's lives to come up with these 6 dimensions. I have validated that with a lot of research institutes, including Gallup, including the National Wellness Institute in Wisconsin, and a few other organizations, and it's stood the test of time. Like James said, it's not me, it's the research I have done. The last part of my book connects presenteeism with leveraging the holistic wellness principles. And that chapter is meant for the CEOs in this room. So it's got a blueprint on how you can reconstitute the way you manage your offices, the way you manage your employees. It's what I call the next generation human resource management. That's all I have for now.
Wow.
Thanks for your time.
I gotta give this man a hug. I gotta get on this stage with this guy more often.